Well, fans, I know you're ready for a long series here. We got a map 3, got your popcorn, your chips, and whatnot, but
got my chips, snacking like Nasi, you know?
let's go. We're having a good time over here. Map 3, Winthrop University to take the win, take us to Ascent, fans. Exciting stuff, being able to see the team and where they're kind of making strides. Really nice.
Yeah, man, I think the other thing too is like learning from your mistakes pretty much at this point for Winthrop University. Although it looked like it was going to be another one of these comeback games for Fluffy Aimers, it's nice here to see that Winthrop University was able to close it out. And as much as I like to say there was no fake comebacks, this was actually a first fake comeback that we actually see here in this series. But it was still quite nice how they actually worked around the map and played around the non-information, there you go, that Fluffy Aimers was not able to get by not having a scan agent. So I gotta give props to them. They had some great clutch rounds too to be able to win this series, or win this second map, sorry, and potentially now, hopefully with this momentum, if you're a Winthrop fan, to win this series.
Imagine if you just cursed them just now. We'll keep note of that.
I've already cursed. I think I've already cursed that 7-3 scoreline or something like that when I talked about the Rolling Thunder. So it's all good.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, the Winthrop offense started off really well. They had a pretty good lead, and it kind of started getting downloaded there by Fluffy Aimers, who came back in the first half. And then Fluffy Aimers definitely gifted a few rounds in that second half because Winthrop got away with just doing a lot of the same peaks on defense and getting a lot of first bloods. Thinking about just the engagement through A main as some of them, or even going through mid. So it forced Winthrop to be on their toes when they ideally, or Fluffy Aimers to be on their toes when ideally Fluffy Aimers were trying to play the slow game, and Winthrop never let them. So it was good for Winthrop to pick up the pace in the second half and kick them where it hurts.
I was definitely a little bit worried for the end of Winthrop there, when it seemed like Fluffy Aimers and Pancakes kind of just, I downloaded whatever was going on over there, and we kind of got to see Fluffy Aimers for a little bit be one step ahead, but Winthrop being able to kind of adapt. As soon as we got over to the side swap as well, took a little bit, but being able to kind of, okay, where do we take that one step ahead was really nice in this. And honestly, nice step ups here coming up from the Winthrop players. I mean, Infiltrator, nice little top of the scoreline there, Vans.
Yeah, but if anything, I find it very poetic as well that the last 2 rounds were Screwface. This time, the last round, getting a retake on an op where, Fluffy Aimers weren't really expecting it. And that's basically what Fluffy Aimers did on the first map on Lotus when they weren't expecting Mummy with an op on Lotus. And then you let that kind of slip too, right? So I like how it just evens out and both of them IGLs going and doing those type of plays. So it's kind of nice. And now we get to see how this is going to pan out, though, on Ascent.
And now, because the Sky team lost on Sunset, y'all validated Vans in his hating shenanigans. But
of course, should have used something else.
Yeah. Not the hating shenanigans. Not the hating shenanigans.
Yep.
But let's talk about the third and final map in the series going on forward to Ascent. This was also what the decider was last time around, but we never got to see it between these two teams, with Fluffy Aimers taking that 2-0 win. So this will be curious to see how exactly this will go, especially too for Winthrop. We don't really know how this looks in current time, Jen.
Yeah, this is a map I would say that favors Fluffy Aimers. First off, because they have much more recent experience, as you pointed out. They also won this map 13-7 against Boys Shopify, who is an incredible team. So that says a lot. While as the other side, Winthrop, we haven't seen them play this since they lost to SAD 13-7, and they still had Moobs and Guck or Gucci, I guess, in the lineup. So we don't really know what to expect besides, the standard comps, but execution-wise.
Yeah, I'm mostly intrigued about what kind of composition we're going to come seeing out with the newly built-out squad. Of course, when we're looking back at the experience and referencing, hey, we haven't really seen them, that does include to just challengers. So they have gotten the experience in collegiate, so the Vans are not coming into this completely, oh no, it's Ascent, what do we do? But when we do have the change of Silex now on the team and how he fits in to their Ascent plan, I think that'll be my biggest question mark going on board to this.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some role switches going through if you're looking at it from Winthrop University's side, because when they lost to SAT Esports at week 1, Infiltrator was still playing the duelist, but Nasi was the one that was playing Smokes. And if that's going to be the responsibility of Silence, then that's definitely going to put Nasi into a different spot where, you know, Jerk has been playing, Cypher on that first map, so he might stay here as a KJ going into it, and you might see Nasi just playing the Sova. So if anything, it's just one small change that would happen, but then overall, the map is so overplayed at this point that you have to be more on point with your fundamentals pretty much when it comes down to getting the perfect trades, the high-lows, and understanding the timings that you have and the opportunities you have and the windows, and take advantage of those opportunities to fight against your opponents. But it's definitely a tough one. You've mentioned it before. It was a win for Fluffy Aimers against MXS, and when it comes down to these maps where they could actually just aim out on a default map like Ascent, or a default map like Breeze, or something that brings a lot of aim like Icebox, you definitely know that Fluffy Aimers are going to come out swinging here in these type of maps.
And I'm looking towards like Neptune and Mame to help save this series for Fluffy Aimers, because they were the ones who top fragged and really carried the game when it came to their last approach to Ascent against Moist Shopify. The flashes getting into the A site, the paranoias, the smokes, how they take control of the sites really depends on those two guys. So we'll see if this is still a map that Fluffy Aimers are strong on, or was it just a bad map for Moist Shopify, because that also could be a factor.
You're going to straight call them out. I feel like that's a challenge when we're looking at the end of Fluffy Aimers there. Wow. All right.
I could be a keyboard warrior.
Hey, I'm just saying, from what we've seen in this series so far, I mean, Fluffy Aimers, both sides actually, they do have some fraggers, so you could say it was maybe a bad day for MXS, but take MXS down on even a bad day, and I mean, in fashion, Fluffy Aimers doing it. And seeing what they've done today here, Vans, I want to say there's a little bit more special magic sparkle luck to that.
Yeah, I think as we mentioned on that first map, despite the loss that you saw from Winthrop University against Fluffy Aimers, on Lotus, there's still a net improvement from, you know, what we've seen from Winthrop University in the past, right? On that map, especially on the map like Lotus. So not only do they bring more macro now, already bringing out some teamwork, but they already have some great firepower that they added with the highlight reels that we saw that Silence was able to do in the last two maps. So with that said, it's going to add a lot of firepower as an Omen player on a map like Ascent, and the way that he plays it kind of is like a scuba style, so he's going to put a lot of impact right now for the team of Winthrop.
See if that impact will be enough. Who's going to be taking home Ascent and taking the series here in week 1? It's time to head over to our agent select. I'll see you after.
Let's go. Guess what? The same stuff. The only thing I was maybe curious about was if we're going to see any ciphers, because we've seen some sentinels go to that since it's more flexible. But, you know, this is something both Jerk and Jonah ran last time that they're comfortable on, so why change?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why the Silence and Nasi is going to be the biggest switch coming through, because Silence is very comfortable and looks very good on that smoke roll right now for Winthrop University. For Fluffy Aimers, I don't think anything changes on their side in terms of roles as well. Bones was the one playing duelist last time, of course, because he's the duelist for the team, but everything else stays pretty much the same. Neptune, I mean, he's had some very nice moments as a KO in the past in his early career playing for like NSIC. I remember like his Rise days that looked pretty good as well on how he was able to get the most out of playing initiator roles, not only the KO but also the Sky, and of course maybe not the Sky on the last map because Sky's on, you know, I'm not gonna repeat myself, but yeah, this is gonna be very standard going through as a third map, and I love that it comes down to this because it now comes down to how good are you and how prepared are you with the fundamentals with the most recent roster changes that we had, right? Remember, Fluffy Aimers on their end brought in Bones and Jonah most recently before the MSC. And for the other end, though, they just brought in Silence for Winthrop University after the MSC. So there's a little bit more time of preparation for Fluffy Aimers against Winthrop, but we'll see how prepared both these teams are, actually.
And both these teams like see each other as very beatable teams they should be. Like, that's the type of confidence that these players have, but more so for Fluffy Aimers, who literally beat them in the mid-season cup 2-0, in fact, on these very maps. So and a beatdown too on that on the what was it, the second map. Either way, Fluffy Aimers now have to readjust. Yeah, have to readjust like the whole approach and take Winthrop a lot more seriously. And especially it's been coming down to the duelist aggression between Infiltrator and Bones and how you're able to stop them entering the site.
And we're starting aggressive already. There's 4 players walking out here towards A main, and you're staying in range of the turret here towards Long B from Jerk, but it definitely shows that it's going to be a late lure towards Catwalk and a heavy pop towards the A site, where there's actually nobody from Fluffy Aimers over here to try to hold and anchor this side.
Okay, quick entry. No one home. Oh, Soap on the other side. And he kicks off the recon, wins that against Screwface. First blood for the defense. But look at where Infiltrator is. He's already on top of heaven pushing glass. And it sees the back of 3 people going through tree. And even gets a kill for it. But being able to call out where Fluffy Aimers could be coming from is everything for Winthrop.
Right now, Jerk is not going to look around either because he has a Sheriff to work with too. So they're trying to play the distance on their end, and it's working out so good with Infiltrator fighting out towards the spawn.
Just the smoke to isolate that 1v1 against Jonah, and he's still a problem. Finally, the crossfire set up for Fluffy Aimers to deal with them and not just all funnel in, but the job is done. Winthrop, what an execution off pistol. And Mame will go down at the end. Winthrop with a good splash.
There was definitely a little bit of miscomms going through from Fluffy Aimers on that retake on the site, especially on the 2 versus 3. You saw that Mame still had a full kit, Paranoia, and 2 smokes yet. We try to drop inside that site and try to isolate that 1v1 just before. I mean, I guess he smoked down towards Hell so they could try to fight together, or fight at least a 1v1. But maybe should have waited the extra seconds so they could double drop for the trade to come out instantly there. And unfortunate to happen. It was a great round here by Winthrop University on the execution. Great read coming out in their pistol round. And second round has an outlaw. Infiltrator trying to look back towards the catwalk. Mame knows better to peek.
Recon 2 from Pancakes to check B main. Winthrop has set up Jerk to watch any kind of B flanks. Winthrop going to utilize mid to push through this market sooner rather than later. And for Pancakes to have to hold the B side by themselves with a shotgun is a little bit tough, but we'll see if luck will favor him depending on where Winthrop goes.
So far, it may be towards middle here after the Aldron spotting the Omen on catwalk. You already see the pivot coming out for Silence to meet up here with Jerk because they never really got pushed out from B main. So you're just waiting for these smokes to come through from Silence to go all the way towards the spawn. Now that knife clears out towards B main 2s, they could split and once again, solo hold. Oh, almost got the kill with it.
Right in the chest too.
30 seconds
Making
left.
clearing out the closet, full control of B for Winthrop and Fluffy Aimers. They'll have Paranoia, they'll have Flash. Of course, they still have their duelist intact, so a dash for Bones. But where Infiltrator is a dangerous spot. He'll get smoked out, but you can just easily adjust to the logs corner. And this is gonna be good. This could be feeding some kills for Infiltrator here in a second.
Yeah, I mean, the good play would be to drop a stinger for Infiltrator so he can start moving out. Or giving it to Screwface so they can look for some kills here. Nasi's already low on HP, so I'd love for them to try to chase these. But for Fluffy Aimers, it seems like it's gonna be... There you go. Nasi's still going to try to walk out here. So only a Sheriff in hand. There's 1 kill. That's a good. There's 2. Oh, no, that's not good at all. Now that puts them 1 away from a Hunter's Fury. Where the ideal already was just trying to run into the spike radius or the blast radius of that spike, and you still walk down 1 by 1. That is unfortunately not a good way to throw your bodies out. Actually, Nasi already has it. So what? He got 3 kills and a death or something like that. But that is going to be a fairly decent piece of utility for Winthrop to work their bonus round. And usually at these moments, it might be one of those work catwalk, Hunter's Fury out towards tree.
Especially, yeah, with how tight the hallways are at A. Hunter's Fury could easily just be used post plant wise. So free mid control yet again for Winthrop off the smokes from Silence. Recon plays that tree to help Winthrop push through, use the Hunter's Fury to pressure in through the smokes. Infiltrator goes 1 for 1. We don't have a good way to enter the site now that Fluffy Aimers knows what's up too. And they shut down people trying to come through tree, even when it's not smoked off. Like, Fluffy Aimers just have really good defensive reads and can also duel well in the smokes. But 3-2 for the defense. Smokes still in place, and an Odin for Pancakes.
And I could still try to drone for information too while Jerk is looking to meet up with the Outlaw. This could be pretty decent for them right now to do some econ damage. That continues on for Winthrop University. Might still end up being around for Fluffy Aimers, but if they're able to drop one more player, especially Mame, who's 1 shot away from an Outlaw. Oh, was 1 shot away from the Outlaw and made it out safely.
Wow, even Nasi just got out safely, but hosed down in the end. Jerk just gonna wait for the smoke to go down so he can use this Outlaw nicely, but then there's also a turret that's probably gonna distract them there from Jonah. It's on top of heaven. And he's just gonna have to eat the damage and see who would peek out, but now he's 34 HP. He's hoping to get any kind of ult going, or to work towards an ult, but no kills for him, and Fluffy Aimers take bonus.
Yeah, very smart for him to just let himself get damaged by the turret. Even if Timmy turret kills him, that's perfect at that point, because you are in your bonus round, and trying to stay alive with an Outlaw is only going to give you 1,000 credits. So he's just trying to take one with him, trying to see if anybody could pull a mistake and try to swing out from the contact of the turret. But they stayed very disciplined for Fluffy Aimers in that last 3 versus 1. So you nullify at least the potent ult that came out here from Nasi, and have an opportunity to fight Odin to Odin. Although Nasi is posted up here on the top of mid, trying to get the Odin spray towards M1 instead. They realize now that it's up for them to take.
So no Odin has really been revealed yet. Now until Pancakes just pressures down B main. And somehow this makes Jerk want to run it down. Usually Odin would make you not want to think about that, but Jonah will put him to bed.
Yeah, it
Meanwhile,
looks like
Winthrop go elsewhere.
He was just trying to get a timing here around the Odin, especially when the turret got recalled. His goal was just trying to break turret or trying to find the fight there.
Okay, dashing in. Okay, they need to support Infiltrator in that smoke, and Stylings might have teleported in either way. Fluffy Aimers just in heaven, unperturbed. And Nasi will, try to duel at range. Somehow gets a kill with the Odin, but Fluffy Aimers are not letting them touch A at all.
Yeah, so I like that in the end. They held a great angle towards that B main, and Jonah playing the off angle too. It forced the hand of Winthrop University to just try to go for a full execute towards the A site with less information. You're just hoping on your pop into the A site that you had the right util at the right place to get these picks, but it's looking very strong so far in terms of Fluffy Aimers punishing these space-making agents such as Infiltrator or Silence with the TP or the dashes and getting punished through it, and punishing them through it right away, rather. So, Fluffy Aimers now putting their opponents on a Nico. Oh, a nice pop flash, though.
Man, that caught Infiltrator, but he's still living and he's still kicking, and Winthrop trying to get inside of B, and this Odin and all of Fluffy Aimers just being ready and stacked. As Winthrop have found no success at A, so they pivoted, and Fluffy Aimers read it like a book. Now Silence with just a Sheriff, and a free kill is always nice. Oh, wait, 3? He gets the gun, and yeah, Pancakes just makes sure that he couldn't do that.
Like I said, man, Silence coming into the roster and showing that he has what it takes here to join the Challengers team. To also potentially get scouted maybe higher up if he could. He was already scouted and spotted back in like the VCT circuit in 2021 and had opportunities to play with top organizations where unfortunately fell short, and we're starting to see a resurgence of Silence here. Now some nice shots to come through, keeping the economy low for Fluffy Aimers, and out on the defense for Bones to kick things off. But right now for Winthrop University, they're avoiding this op. And after you post up Bones here at Long B, you can now focus on a lot of players to anchor up towards the A and mid side.
And Fluffy Gamers are just purposely leaving that mid open. They have B main shut down by an Odin. They got all types of KJ util at A, and Jonah's not going to move from that spot. You have Mame and Tree. Like, they know where Winthrop are coming from. But can you handle util coming your way? It's Screwface with a flash. Neptune tries to counter flash, and he won't be able to escape, so he just has to be ready to trade. Winthrop still try to get through market. This time a knife from Neptune to slow down the push, but namely see how many are there. And then at the back is Pancakes, who shifted from the Odin holding B main to getting some eyes on mid.
Still continues to be very good on trade in terms of utility. That weakens up the A side in terms of util to take site and hold site. We're going to see a team deathmatch very soon.
A deathmatch, but no one can see each other because of smokes.
Yep. And Pancakes will take it.
And B is held down by an op, so Winthrop gonna see if they can find more success at A, this time pivoting from mid to A instead of going directly. 10 seconds left. The kills go Winthrop's way, and the plant does too. But heaven, Fluffy Aimers retake is there. With that knife, Winthrop know what's coming. Neptune tried to look down upon them, but he's the one buried. 4 versus 2. Winthrop just have to close out, and the backstep helped out too, so we're even up 3-3.
Ended up being very good there. As we talked about utility, I guess I forgot about shock darts. Usually I just see a recon dart and then flash just to get into sight, and not shock darts to clear out angles, and it worked out for a nice little kill in the end for Winthrop University to take over this A site. And now this is gonna be okay. You're gonna force around this. It makes sense. Bones has Blade Storm available. They have 2 very strong ults to work with around this force buy. And I like to say force, but you still have Pancakes and Mame in a pretty decent econ. On the next, and it's a shark attack towards B main, trying to leverage potentially the show the Hunter's Fury with it. What a shot!
I thought Bones was gonna go in deeper when he saw that player escape. Bones converts 2, and now Fluffy Aimers know they're weak. It's just Infiltrator. Would like to keep the gun, and man, Fluffy Aimers, they let Winthrop have so much mid control for free, and they knew where they were gonna walk to this time, and were ready to strike early and fast.
That's insane, because I don't even think Pancakes even had an Odin that time around to like break those doors and try to spam through the basic shark attack that you usually see here towards that B site. For him playing on Catwalk, it seems like I said, it seems like they were going to try to use the Hunter's Fury to support Bones to get these picks, but this man just went on a one-man show and just started popping everybody in the face. Not only that, they're able to gamble on that buy, convert out of it, have a strong econ out of it because they lost 1 player, and still maintain their ults, and they're going to look to shark attack again.
Winthrop forcing their way through A main. It's going to be smoked off, so they're free to walk up.
Right here.
Jerk will join them in a bit with a sheriff, and Infiltrator just does a classic, but he's got his ult in. He's ready to dance. He runs right into a KJ util. So Fluffy Aimers kind of read where that was going. Null command activated there from Screwface. Winthrop just can enter the A site directly when Fluffy Aimers are set up. Fluffy Aimers are winning those ranged duels, and Winthrop don't have tree control, so Fluffy Aimers take angles that Winthrop can't deal with. So it's just a Fluffy Aimers round, and Jerk is in a position he cannot get out.
4 alive in a previous round, flawless this time around too. You mentioned the ult that came out from Screwface, but not before Neptune got his out too. So once that pop came through from Winthrop University, as soon as they heard the recon dart come across, and how they found early pressure towards mid and B main with the shark attack play, then it was natural there for Neptune to move over to KO ult and make sure that Infiltrator could not get the same value off the Blade Storm, just as Bones did rather the previous round. And that just made things a lot easier here for Fluffy Aimers to hold the defense towards the end. This time, at least, hopefully, they get something, and they want to leverage their own ults for Winthrop University to take some space, potentially with this lockdown, but it'll be a gamble because they are on a lower buy.
hoping that Odin wasn't still gonna be there, and Infiltrator's been hit by a shock bolt and also an Odin. Like, Winthrop haven't even looked at another person yet. Okay, now you know there's no more shock bolts. Surely. Oh, and with the Aldro too, they know the whole squad is there. Winthrop just gotta go for it now. Infiltrator dashes in, dies immediately. He's already half health. Winthrop try to come through Market, and they deal with Neptune at least. One less problem. But one big threat still with the Odin of Pancakes is just gonna be ready. Spray down Market as soon as Winthrop come out. And Screwface has at least an upgraded weapon, and he's gotta be the one that swings first, and Mame kills both. And Fluffy Aimers brought themselves in a 3 versus 1 against Nazi, and decent lineups, but Fluffy Aimers on a defensive tear.
I love the idea of Winthrop University trying to answer back with the shares through the wall while you had the Odin coming out on the spray from Pancakes. And at the end, though, it was labored. You're hoping that these shots were going to land here with the, 3 or 4 shares that finally committed and got control and position on Switch. But unfortunately, they did not land, so the ones with the Vandals got the advantage out of that. And it's nothing more I could really add to it. You got to land your shots in those moments. And unfortunately, it doesn't pan out where Fluffy Aimers are looking continuously good here on their defensive side. And that's Winthrop University focusing so much here on those extremities that Fluffy Aimers in the early seconds of the round are already have the immediate read when they're pushing aggressively like they are on the mid takes. So maybe Winthrop University might have to start defaulting back now on getting this early info on mid through this conversation of a timeout.
And Winthrop are kind of suffering from the same thing that happened last map of just having a very predictable offense, and they are trying to not be as direct, taking angles, but then, you know, they're not taking full control of tree when they go through A, they go through mid, and then they are walking into an Odin, which I don't blame them. The round was kind of cooked based on the buys, but can Winthrop kind of sell more fakes and really have Fluffy Aimers weaken sights trying to chase after them, which may give Winthrop more leverage offensively.
And there's an early paranoia with a recon dart to try to get an Odin spray on the defense. Nice attempt, looking to get a punish, and it works.
Thankfully for them, yeah, because Infiltrator was getting kind of hit by that Odin, and Winthrop definitely suffered last round because of Pancakes and that Odin. So now,
Cover going out.
through blood, sweat, and tears, Winthrop have mid. But this time, playing close is Jonah and Pace. You just heard the jump too, and the Owl Drone didn't clear the smoke in time there. Winthrop will get ahead in this round, and they're down by 3, so every round matters.
Yeah. Still a great start, though. Up to the anchor player, Pancakes in the back of the side with an Odin.
Last player standing.
Okay, 1v3 from Mame, hearing the plant, not being able to do anything to prevent it, and has already revealed his position. You heard him drop down. You play the mind game, and you gotta take it here and now, especially with that person coming through tree, and he just couldn't deal with the double swing.
Yeah, this time no 1 versus 3 clutch coming out here from Mame. But there you go, that timeout. They realized here on the heavy pressure that FAIM were bringing out towards that catwalk, towards the mid. They punished that back by actually inserting silence to just walk in slowly, to just gamble it out. Walk into the A site. Nobody was watching it because they were so focused on fighting middle that it gets the backstab kill, and that really started initiating everything. You're now at a 4 versus 5. For Fluffy Aimers, you have to start making a play. Jonah has to walk into smoke, and then he gets caught too. So great positioning in the end for Winthrop University after capitalizing on the aggression that came out here from FAIM in the previous rounds. And that's maybe one round that's like, okay, well, we did it. Now we can't do it again, so let's just go back into a regular pop.
We're just gonna all go through main,
wow.
And sometimes they take their sweet time, and Pancakes is just gonna line up all the ducks. The Hunter's Fury.
Look at
a
that
lot of
damage.
injuries to Winthrop, yeah. And they're still committed. They're just gonna go for it. There's from the shadows from Silence to get out to the side, and a counter Hunter's Fury to pressure down those Heaven defenders from Fluffy Aimers. You still have a lockdown if you're Jonah, and he's gonna throw it down in tree. And as the plant comes down, Winthrop are not gonna break the door and fight for this. They're just gonna leave into wine.
Do they have a nano? They don't, so they're just gonna have to fight through, and Screwface is gonna be the one and done, so he's gonna go down. But the other three, you know that they're definitely on wine. Mummy, can he do it this time? Another 1 versus 3.
Oh, they were all ready though. Good attempt as Fluffy Aimers. Being able to trade kind of round for round in this half, I think is good for them.
Yeah, especially when it was those moments where when one team was, especially Winthrop, when they were starting to run away with the series, they caught up very quickly, speaking about Fluffy Aimers. This time, it's a little bit more back and forth. Both teams finding great value on both defense and on the attack, and especially on those last few rounds, Winthrop University off the timeout have been doing great, just full-out swing contact plays that catches Fluffy Aimers off guard. How does Screwface get an opening like that with an Odin and a second kill on top of that? And now an opportunity for them to take control of A main. Pop Flash was ready, but it might be a standard just KO ult. Right into the site.
Last round of the half, Bones with the up. Ooh, Winthrop finally selling a fake with mid open too. No Odin bearing down on them through B main too. So maybe Jerk is like, guys, it's safe. At least mid is safe.
And especially that with the recon dart flash. Now they could drone towards Catwalk for Pancakes. But will Fluffy Aimers, sorry, not Pancakes, Nasi. Will Fluffy Aimers just try to run through that once they hear the Allen drone towards A main?
Trying to push through tree this time, which is always nice. You can have access to that up if you can get close, but no one checks their corners. So no command for Screwface, which goodbye to that. And the spike down 2, and yeah, this is kind of cooked.
Remaining. 30 seconds left.
Paranoia flash on top of that, dude. That util is so good for Fluffy Aimers in that round. Not gonna happen. No more kills coming out from Nasi after losing all of his teammates on that split take and losing a spike out in the open. And you salvage that last round for Fluffy Aimers. An opportunity to take the attack. And I like it, at least. They never put into account here for Winthrop University the off angle that was played by the flower pot. So now Fluffy Aimers have an opportunity to close out this series, unless, though, we've seen that the pistol rounds have often gone in favor of Winthrop tonight.
Yeah, last pistol won by Winthrop, and really helps that momentum. So Fluffy Aimers are only up by 2. And yeah, the defense that it felt really relentless on A, just when Winthrop would just go straight direct. It feels like those Heaven defenders just killed them. Just it was incredible to watch. And well, at least Winthrop tried to cook in different ways, tried to go through tree, tried to go through mid and then pivot, but still something to, still them trying to find a site that's weaker.
Yeah, but if anything, this tech pause is killing my momentum.
Right?
But it's been a good series overall between Fluffy Aimers and Winthrop University. We've mentioned it before. When you're looking at this head-to-head, or just Winthrop University in general, right? When they first came in to stage 1, they were the only collegiate team that made it through into Challengers by going through the gauntlet of the open bracket. And then everything started to not fall into place. Everything was starting to fall into shambles, actually, where you went through roster changes, you went coaching changes, you went through just trying to figure out perfect rules. And now, again, with adding Silence and Screwface, this is a first big test here against Fluffy Aimers. Fluffy Aimers is not a team where it's just like, oh, because you're not signed, that every team is going to pug it out pretty much, and Fluffy Aimers don't really have any real strap behind things, because they look so good so far. They have players that can really clutch well for the team too. And when you're actually able to win against these heroic plays and heroic moments, and how Fluffy Aimers are doing these set strats and shark attacks here towards middle, you're still able to weather the storm and make this a very close game. So this is looking very good for Winthrop University. I'm hoping to see some similar things over to the second collegiate team that made it through now into stage 2, which is Blinn Esports. And we'll have to figure that out later on throughout the days, as finally we go back into the game, pistol round for the second half, and Fluffy Aimers looking for control here towards this B main, but there's no paranoia coming through, so just a stand-up play towards Link. As for Winthrop, though, they're looking to pop flash Infiltrator into main.
Okay, you know there's a KJ turret there. Where is the KJ? You ping Jonah through the smoke. W for Infiltrator.
Wow.
But there's more than what you expected around this corner. Fluffy Aimer's there to support Jonah. And by support, I mean die with him. Mame in a 1v3. He's like, guys, I thought we were going A. What's popping
Emotional
over
support.
here?
Stealing sight.
Well, I guess what's popping is Infiltrator's head with Silence at 3 HP. It's not impossible for Mame. Actually, very doable for a guy like him who was clutched this before. And the swing from Silence's. Mame was looking the other way. Good pistol from Winthrop.
Yeah, we talked about the synergy, right, that Winthrop University now has with, you know, the IGLing coming out from Screwface, and that pop flash was not only I thought Infiltrator was trolling, but just dashing through, but there was a recon dart that went with the flash. There was a second flash that came up that kept everybody blinded. As they were unblinded, there was a flash that came from middle from Silence on top of that, which allowed Winthrop University to just flood into the B site. And I wonder what was the call in the first place, because we never really saw like any tells. They were just gambling it through, using a dash as that info. That Infiltrator dashed into his own smoke to allow the sequence of flashes that came out on the defense. Beautifully done.
One way and Screwface. Oh, what info on that knife. But it doesn't mean that Fluffy Aimers are going to go A. If anything, last map, Fluffy Aimers offense were really good at fakes. And I went for a lot more of them than Winthrop in that case. So they're going to leave.
Yeah, for them, for Fluffy Aimers, is just try to find some sort of weakness, punish that, get a plant down. And for Winthrop University, they know that. Look how passively they're playing. The only thing is Screwface with this off angle, tight angle. And it's like, okay, there's a lot of people here. Let me fall back.
We'll try to anyway. Oh, jeez. The party's coming to them. And Fluffy Aimers have made their way through glass, through heaven, and with the owl drone taking care of the spike down to Winthrop, scrap their way from hell and back. Silence with 3 and 4. Oh man, he's just had an amazing day.
How did you get that kill into Bones? Are my eyes old or tired or something? Because we had a long day, but I don't know if he flicked somehow on that kill into Infiltrator. But so far, Winthrop University on that defensive round read it like a book. It almost looked like, okay, Fluffy Aimers, they're funneled towards Garden. They get into heaven and they have positional advantage from being on a vertical position and owl drone, but they're always ready for that. You already had everybody watching each other's back from Dice and from Hell. It turned out being very, very good in the end. Too bad we won't be able to see that replay, but maybe Silence could post it later.
Silence is like doubling all his team's kills also.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And sorry, it was the kill into Bones, not Infiltrator. I'm getting my jets mixed up now.
If there was team damage, I bet Silence will take care
Yeah,
of
you probably
him
get
too.
like a 9 ace or something like that. I don't know how you call a 9 kill round, but yep.
Yep. Interesting spot for Bones to see if he could catch a defender coming out of A main, but then who's gonna push the site? I guess they're gonna try and take control of tree and then have Bones push through main is what I'm sensing here.
Yeah, you're trying to isolate them back, especially with that smoke that was thrown deep into A main, so they think they might have already blocked that out. So as they won't really see anything yet, but I'm sure they'll still keep an eye on it. Infiltrator's already posted up to watch that towards main. It just depends on the rest of the util. They've rotated the right number of players, though.
Yeah, checking your corner is so important. And that door being open hurts Fluffy Aimers, but what hurts more is Bones, who used that distraction to get into sight, get a double kill, and also converge with his team.
Wait.
But at the top, Nasi and Jerk are just jerks themselves. Owl drone off the corner. Spotted out Nasi, and Neptune is positioned in the field, and Winthrop take the round.
But yeah, they took the round, but I'm still questioning the play here of closing the door into your third player, thinking that the coast is clear somehow when you're entering sites, which really didn't give a chance for that 1v2 to happen in favor of Fluffy Aimers, nor even a trade setup when they're trying to get into the site. So these guys are getting I mean, outclassed pretty much at this point, macro-wise, on how Fluffy Aimers are trying to execute the site and getting backstabbed every time. So, not too sure what went on here and what was the reason to close that door. But it ends up not working out for them, being costly, and the momentum, is on the side of Winthrop.
Here.
Winthrop have never kind of early peaked that too, so Fluffy Aimers did not expect the
Placing swarm grenades.
poke out there. So see a lurk from Jonah checking out the B site, but he isn't really pushed past that, especially not by himself. And against Nasi, who has an Odin, yeah, no thanks. But see how that goes. Fluffy Aimers going through A main. Silence will be at the off angle through tree. He also has to keep eyes on mid because Winthrop have no idea what's going on through mid as the Aldron from Pancakes while he spot out Screwface who dodges the paranoia. Silence uses that opportunity to swing at a tree, and now the Fluffy Aimers deal with that, they feel more comfortable going into the site.
Yeah, and meanwhile the Jerk got the pick into a late lurk on B main on Jonah, so it makes it a 4 versus 2. You'll confirm now that nobody's pushing in towards Gardner Tree, especially when they lost control of that area at the very beginning. Now they could potentially flood a 3 versus 1 towards the A site and be in a good spot here for the retake for Winthrop, unless Pancakes goes nuclear.
Last player standing.
Yeah, I would take that. Pancakes at least has a decent gun against 4 GG, so Winthrop will get the defuse and go up by 2. And really, momentum has been on their side too in the second half.
Gun here.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good here for the collegiate team. Now moving into round number 17, this is going to be finally another attempt with weapons for Fluffy Aimers. And they don't want to use a Blaze Storm, so they want to potentially try to just have a regular round here with the rifles. And then going to the next, if they lose this one here, they'll have a couple of ults to work with the Blade Storm. But the positioning here that you have is trying to figure out how they can maximize taking control here of this B main.
Finally, some B main action. Let's go. Never mind. Just the fear of the Odin compels you.
It makes sense. The turret's already up on the top of shed. You can't really place a turret in the front to make sure that anybody's moving through. And when you're doing that and you sound the alarm of your turret going up, you might get wallbang by Nasi. So they don't really know about the op posted up towards B main. If anything, they're more afraid of the Odin towards the B site. And they need to find this op where Infiltrator is currently posted up. Unfortunately, he's walking out towards B main. And there's not going to be any support coming out here for Jonah if he tries to walk in.
Okay, drone spawning at the turret, and oh
yeah,
my god, it's never just the Odin. There's always something else, and Jonah's found out now a second time. It's been tough for him to get a successful lurk going there.
Here.
Might still push it to B though. They hear all this rotate.
Oh, phone's down to 5. Pancakes will guard the helm, and the rest. This is already a disadvantage for Fluffy Aimers.
30 seconds left.
The health that Bones has, at least he could still dash in and get some work done, knowing Winthrop are at the back of the map. You know Infiltrator has the op too, and Fluffy Aimers would rather not test his aim again through A main. Fluffy Aimers get some recon going, flushing out those defenders from the corner. 8 seconds left. Fluffy Aimers, it's here and now. 2 versus 2. And they're still rotating, and Winthrop are still rotating from the opposite site. So Mame and Pancakes have time to set up.
It's TPing out. This might be an opportunity. Oh, he got info. Beautifully done.
You know that they're there, but what do you do about it?
Crossfire setup.
Oh, wait! Jerk manages to jump by, and it's a distraction from Nasi, but no! Fluffy Aimers, they stay focused, and they keep themselves within 1.
Once again, a big round coming out from Mame. You mentioned it. 5 HP remaining at that point. 4 versus 5 to kick things off too. It was so well set up at the beginning for Winthrop University to get full map control. That owl drone just to wallbang with the Odin allows Infiltrator to walk out and not get spotted by the op. Activate dash and just try to get the lurker down because they know they've never been pressured towards B main from the very beginning, so that you know there's only going to be one person because he has to stay in the radius of the turret anyways. So what a nice pick to start things off, but then we talked about it. There's always going to be players that could do heroic plays here for Fluffy Aimers, and Turns out to be a big round coming in for the attack.
Going through main, and Infiltrator will have to disengage after a lot of info given by Pancakes on this Sova. This has been great to see. Fluffy Aimers will pressure them back too with the Odin. You got a Hunter's Fury, but that won't be pulled out quite yet. B main will be tested after Fluffy Aimers made all this noise mid, thinking maybe they've pulled the rotations from Winthrop to look more towards market.
They have, right? Because right now you're seeing them walk back towards B main here for Fluffy Aimers. Yet after that small window of opportunity has passed, especially when Screwface walked inside that smoke, they can reposition themselves inside this site.
Okay, it's all up to Nasi to defend from this point. And he just heard someone jump close. He keeps himself hidden through the paranoia and just is wallbanging through everything. He's killed 3 and lets his team do the rest. Winthrop up to 10.
What a beautiful recon dart. And it almost feels like, what wasn't this a moment where people weren't breaking haunts on the previous map on Sunset when it was being thrown out by Screwface? It spotted out Neptune on Sunset, and this time it pings up 2 players inside the B main with a recon dart that allows here Silence and Nasi to hold the B side all the way back from the backside of B. Unfortunately, that's going to be costly, because look at this econ that you currently have. So Blade Storm, Rifle, ults. Can you convert? At least on the side of Winthrop, they can.
Odin through the wall equals pain. This has been, I mean, these Odins have been huge factors for the defense. This time a Hunter's Fury on the defense. Nazi just gets some shot through main, and it's also good info, and also dinged Mame, who's playing a main. Now with the Owl Drone getting shot down, you know there's some action mid. I think he even got the ping on the Owl Drone. Either way, Fluffy Aimers are been sort of discovered at this point. When Fluffy Aimers have gone mid, they've gone through Courtyard and through Tree. We'll see if the execute works out. It's all up to Bones. The Blade Storm. How he's gonna maybe updraft through? No, he doesn't have it, but how they're gonna deal with Heaven? They'll go through Glass, I guess.
Yeah, they don't really need to. They threw an all command on the attachers to try to gain space and try to get a plant down. Mame gives his life away to at least get the plant down. But they have a perfect position to just flood back with the paranoia here from Heaven. Bones has to come up huge. One more dagger, refreshes.
Well, some butter knives being thrown out at the beginning, but puts himself in a safe position. Winthrop focused on Bones, who's left 1v3. Winthrop getting closer to the comeback, or closer to also a series win, coming back through such a deficit at the start on map 1.
They're hoping those Blade Storm landed there for Bones, just like they did on the defensive side. And unfortunate there, when he caught some players off guards, just couldn't connect the daggers as he was under heavy pressure from both ends. And yeah, a little taste of their own medicine here for Fluffy Aimers. A recon wall bang coming through. But in the end, it's just proven to be too strong in terms of util versus what you had left in this lower buy that you had for Fluffy Aimers, calling out the timeout. And I think when you bought here around those ults and that Blade Storm, I don't think the economy is going to be the best. So Winthrop has a great opportunity to bring this into series point. Silence 20, 10, and 12 so far. Best fragger, best anchor. We talked about his anchor plays that he could do here for a team like Winthrop University here on this half.
And snack diff too. I mean, Nasi's dropped 17 kills post-snack. We'll need a pre-snack to post-snack stats highlight after the game. But this is this was a Fluffy Aimers series to start and Winthrop to close out, according to what the stars are telling us. But still 2 more rounds away. Winthrop gotta finish things out, and their defense is held strong.
So it's a glass. Okay, I thought it was gonna be like some sort of crazy buy. Maybe there was a buy for somebody else here, but it's just to share full armor. Sorry, for Neptune, so you could get full util. So they are force buying around this, not playing for the tie, not half buying so they have enough econ for the next round. This is the round now for Fluffy Aimers.
Okay, this
Once
Odin is still terrifying, and it still did damage to Fluffy Aimers, who are gonna send Bones through Market and the rest of the team through main, knowing this Odin could just ruin them. So they're gonna use the lockdown to flush them out, forcing Winthrop out of the site, and Fluffy Aimers in.
They're trying not to smoke towards the spawn. They just want to fight against them. So that's why they pop flash through. Bones opens it up. Very nicely done. Slight little modification on how you're entering towards this B site. And after these kills, finally, the smoke comes up and then you get a plant. I like that little change here from Fluffy Aimers.
They got the plant down too. It's been a while since we've seen a B site get hit, it feels like.
Oh,
At least
definitely.
Successfully.
Had to find a way to pull Nasi away from his position. It had to be a lockdown.
And then even then they had an exchange at range, and Jerk, an opening pick, it evens up the numbers. Now the Odin goes in, but that's a tough trigger to pull for Nasi. But Jonah is blinded, but that window of opportunity is gone. Jerk walks in, and that's all done. 11-9 now for Winthrop.
And it ends up being costly, though, for Fluffy Aimers. That's 3K across the board plus a plat. They're still not out of the frying pan yet, because if they lose this round here, look at them. All once again have to buy all the way down. The only one that's going to have some sort of econ in the next round if they don't get a plat. And if they lose the round, that's only 1,900 for them across the board. If they get a plat, you add an extra 300, but that's still not enough. So another crucial round coming out for Fluffy Aimers. And a room to breathe here, because if they do that, they break the econ of Winthrop where they could tie the game.
Nasi's position was revealed, and Bones stepped up to deal with that, and he walked into Infiltrator's trap. Okay, the drones will have a face-off there in mid. Fluffy Aimers really want that mid control. They'll just not be able to have it because of that screwface knife, too.
Oh, everybody's missing. He slipped through the net, could have killed two, and then the op doesn't punish him. But they have B-site control.
Even some KJ util at the top of site. They got Market smoked off. Surely, right? 4v5. Fluffy Aimers still at a man disadvantage.
Oh, this
Gotta
is
worry
big.
about B main.
Exactly. 4 players working B main so they could use lockdown in that side. It has to come down to Neptune and Jonah.
She's like, no, Jonah's watching it, but must have been looking at the minimap, just didn't react in time.
He got
and
two.
Neptune picks up 2! And he's doing everything but the Odin, the crouch. Nasi is just nicey with it. And now the lockdown from Winthrop. And it's covering the entire site. No corner for Mame and Pancakes. They're just gonna try and live and die with the spike and at least catch them entering in. And Mame, he's still here.
Enemy remaining.
And they don't know because of the teleporting clutches!
Oh my god, Mame, one more time with the clutch play! I saw him saying towards the back, I was like, wait, he's got ult here. Cancels out off the lockdown coming through. The last hope that you have coming out of Mame ends up clutching the round. The Zippo clutch coming through after such a beautiful play. It looks so good for Winthrop University to close that round. But we mentioned it here. That round coming out from Mame breaks the econ of Winthrop and an opportunity for them to tie up the game now.
I didn't even know you could do that, so...
Today you learned.
Today I learned. Mame teaching us today. Selling the fake TP there, and that... Also, Winthrop have Infiltrator in tree. But now this knife also reveals Fluffy Aimers, so... Do they pivot?
There's going to be some sort of aggression there. I got punished.
Jeez. I thought they were gonna lead with the flash there from Screwface. At least we're maybe aiming to, but hey, you go 1 for 1, not too bad. But Fluffy Aimers don't have a jet to do the dash into the site. But hey, it's all up to... Okay, we don't look at that bolt. We didn't see it.
It was close, though. There was an opportunity there for Jerk to punish, but he was caught with util in his hands. But meanwhile, this is the second time that Jonah's able to slip through, getting that kill onto Nasi, opening up the B site this time around. There's a rotate around it, or giving that spike over to Jonah so he could get that plant down. So with these final remaining rounds of this map, of this series, also the orb picked up by Pancakes, you're given an opportunity for 2 incredible ults to try to come back in this game now for Fluffy Aimers.
Oh, big pick. 3-3. Fluffy Aimers have been so good at just selling fakes, pivoting, and catching weaker sites and finding success at B. Turret from Jerk. It's not going to see anything, so they're either playing in sight or playing through B main, and they guessed wrong. Mame swung around the corner, and the spike's about to go off. Winthrop only have Silence and Infiltrator with not even real rifles, so...
Best thing they could do right now is stay towards the market too, and maybe try to get some picks while Fluffy Aimers are trying to exit. Jonah might even die.
Died to the spike. Yay.
He's good. Yeah.
What a series, though. We've had these have been some close matches, and nothing like the last time they faced too, where it was what, like 13-3 or something for Fluffy Aimers on map 1. So it just talks about the substantial work that not only Fluffy Aimers have done, but also Winthrop.
But this is definitely going to sting Winthrop if they also let this one slip through, just like Lotus before. And Fluffy Aimers now have that momentum on their side with the comeback that they've brought in on their attack side too. And also seems to be realizing how they slipped through the defensive lines here of Winthrop. Oh, that knife. It wasn't able to get broken here. It pings up both players playing aggressively, so they know Catwalk's weak. So they're pivoting back now for Fluffy Aimers to just clear out M1 and start scaling up here. Mid control, Catwalk. There's a lot of mid pivots they could do. It may come down to Infiltrator with the off angle up towards Pizza.
And this Odin from Nasi too, I thought it was going to be used to pressure B main, and it's been playing mostly towards inside of the site, and now going to help support market. As Winthrop have been trying to catch up with these games. Fluffy Aimers, it's been a chess match. They're just all sitting in mid, hoping to catch rotations or what, or at least hoping for smokes. And now Fluffy Aimers are on an island in a 3 versus 2 at least.
Oh, out of bullets!
Oh, and Nasi out of bullets. That's so rough. And Fluffy Aimers a match point after a 4K from Jonah.
Oh, running out of bullets on an Odin has got to even hurt. And that is the round that's going to put Fluffy Aimers at map and series point. Jonah so far, 3 rounds ago, slipped through towards B main and did some great plays. 2 rounds ago, I forgot what he did. But then this round, just got a 4K this time around and has another lockdown available here for Fluffy Aimers. Needless to say, there was so much going through from Jonah so far of how he's able to lurk through and make plays right now for Fluffy Aimers on the attack, that this is going to be so frustrating for Winthrop University. Their only silver lining now is to push us into overtime. I saw an Odin buy still, so there's still some hope.
Okay, you got the cope and the hope going. Winthrop got light shields going into this. I peeked right before the timeout.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's something.
That's all you need, right?
Some a cardboard box type of protection, so... Yeah, Winthrop letting this slip by, but it also means Fluffy Aimers could be closing things out 1 round away after being able to 2-0 them last time. A win would still be a win. You know, map differential would also be affected here, but either way, a win is what's important.
And it's 2 Guardians, 2 on top of that Blade Storm for Infiltrator. No aggressive plays, no high risk, high reward. They're just trying to play here into basic Valorant, and Saint Valorant rather.
Wait, this is doing damage! The first blood from Nasi off the recon contact, and the attacker's lockdown still active. But with that smoke, at least Fluffy Aimers, you'd think would be easily able to cross no through the smoke. Infiltrator is cutting people down, literally. Blade Storm with Winthrop on a half buy saved that round. How?
Dude, I got lost in the sauce with whatever just happened there.
Overtime.
Somehow, a wallbang kill that came through with a recon dart, and I don't know if they even broke the lockdown when it was placed down here from Jonah. but it did not allow here for, it almost seems that when you saw Winthrop walk back into the site, a lot of players are just caught out in the open at logs and that switch and not able to get anything done on their end. So it definitely looks like there's a big play that came through here from Nasi to save that round for Winthrop and to push this into overtime. And as they go into overtime, they're pulling out an attacker-sided op. This is going to be such a big risk right now for Infiltrator, as Bones is doing the same thing, but it's normal now to have a glass cannon on a defense. He's posted up on A, so a big heavy lean on the defensive side from Fluffy Aimers over towards his B side.
Now Winthrop are on offense this time, and no Odin for the defense. No recon bolts, no nothing. Winthrop are just keeping their eyes peeled at mid and hearing what's going on at A. Kind of a stalemate. Watching each other age.
I mean, that's what happens when you're trying to play with an op on your side. You really can't move as quickly, especially when the op is in the hand of the one that's trying to create space here. You're just going to try to keep leading in, walking forward, trying to get picks. The Knife actually spotted maybe 2 players, including that Jet. But you're seeing it from the play of Winthrop, going left and right, trying to get one orb one in from Jerk. Move back towards the A side, potentially get Jerk's orb on this side too. And actually, instead, it's going to be Nasi moving over on this side. Quite interesting how this round is panning out right now. Bones has an opportunity to still op out here towards this side. There's the reload, and there's the op.
Oh, what a reaction out of Winthrop to take advantage of the Aldrone opportunity. And 13 seconds left, though. They still got a plant. Coming through the top side is Pancakes, Mummy through tree. Big 1v1 against Screwface. Well, the door's closed. But once that opens, it's trouble. And Winthrop manages to get themselves in hell and can just lean on Nasi and this disgusting Odin. As Mame will tap the spike and the shock bolt will flush him out.
Wow.
Winthrop, match point.
I didn't think you were going to get that much value off an operator on the attack. Yes, I would understand the first one, but then 2 more close range on an entry and then a post-plant hold is beautiful play by Infiltrator. Back here at the top of the scoreboard, but tied with Nasi and Silence, all at 21. I mean, the whole team's playing amazingly well for Winthrop University, and same thing for Fluffy Aimers. But I gotta say here at this point, they had a strange composition or a strange strategy to try to pick up orbs on different players on overtime. But hey, we make that work. We make that happen. Recon are getting information out towards B main, and that is actually Neptune that got pinged out. So that gives a tell here that there's a potential heavier lean from FAIM towards this B side. And that's where Winthrop University is also heavily set.
Well, at least Nasi, his Odin, doing a lot of noise at Catwalk. So Fluffy Aimers don't have that to worry about if they wanted to go through P main, but there's a bunch of KJ util to get through too. So Fluffy Aimers take this one step at a time. They're an offense that is a slow burn, but it still hurts nonetheless. But in this overtime scenario, you're going through tree. You gotta check every little corner, worry about glass, and play off the smokes. What isolations you can get. Snasi gets that canceled, all thanks to Neptune. Churro's coming in. It spots Pancakes, which is fine.
All this here to try to get those players back and inserted towards middle. Great delays being held so far by Pancakes. Now he's able to hear the rotate. He's going to be the backstabber.
One person in the closet. Oh, and also some friends. It's Silence also the MVP of this team. And look, the reinforcements of Winthrop are here. There's 10 seconds left.
Not
and
this time,
Mame's in a 1v4. Oh, you can't clutch them all. Winthrop, take the series.
Ooh, it took some time and it was labor, but in the end, Winthrop University show tenacity and they're able to bounce back after FAIM was able to push us into overtime. Very well done. You can already see Nasi leading out, being like, dude, that was a long series and a long battle, but we did it, chat. So yeah, big congratulations there to Winthrop University. Great way for them to start this stage 2. But yeah, it was definitely a nice back and forth battle here that we saw between these two teams, especially on that third map here on Ascent.
Nasi's got a show on, Infiltrator has a room to clean, Screwface, one-man party. Like, it's a good day to be a Winthrop fan, a Winthrop player, and a long series goes in their favor. Can you just imagine, like, the work that you have to do to make those improvements, plus you got school to balance. And shout out to the back room, whoever's back there, to prep Winthrop for this moment and to come back in that series when map 1 went Fluffy Hammer's way.
Yeah, definitely. It was it went Fluffy Amers' way when it was supposed to be Winthrop University's dub. And that almost closed out here on that second map as well, where Fluffy Amers looked like they were going to come back in this game and win that second map too. And Winthrop University are finally able to clutch back and push us to a third map, fight back in the third map too, and bring this into overtime. Usually I think that we're going to bring Sierra back at the on the desk here. Sierra, are you here?
Am I here? Am I here?
I can hear you over. I can hear you.
I can hear 10-4.
For Rubber Ducky. Did they not, did chat not hear anything else? Did they just hear y'all being weirdos? All right, nothing new over here, but
as usual.
Nothing new.
Yeah, nothing new.
I mean, what a series coming out from Winthrop University. I mean, considering how strong of a victory last time it was for Fluffy Amers, Levin, to see this turnaround, especially with the new addition coming onto the team. This is just week 1 of stage 2. That's some good stuff. That's a good foundation.
Yes, you guys learned from Nasi today. Buy your Odins on Ascent, kids, and just hold down the button. You know, he did more than just that. I mean, B-side was so hard to push because of him, and even he pivoted to Courtyard, and a lot of First Bloods went Winthrop's way because of that, and we still went to OT, so still very back and forth.
100%. Both of the teams being able to keep it as back and forth and so competitive throughout every single game. It started with 13-11, then 13-10 to 14-12 advance. I mean, you then have to also be given applause to Fluffy Amers going into this as well, because it's a team that definitely had to overcome some hurdles here in stage 1. Things were like, they weren't quite on the same level as everyone else, but I'm really liking seeing how these changes are coming about.
Yeah, if anything, there's been a glow up from a player on each team that I like to say. For Fluffy Amers, it's been Mame at this point. These clutch plays that he's pulling out. On the other end for Winthrop University, it's Infiltrator. I feel that with the additions that came in here for Winthrop University for Screwface and Silence, it's able to activate Infiltrator a little bit more, where I feel like he doesn't have to make too many heroic plays. As for Fluffy Amers, they have to do a little bit more of those from what we witnessed in the series, and they were able to do that on that end with players like Mame. So yeah, a big shout out to those two players. And yeah, I'm not pertaining to think that Fluffy Amers are just going to drop the ball from here on out, because they brought up a really good fight. They could clean up a little bit on that macro side. I think they're going to continue to be a very strong contender now, moving into the later stages of stage 2, and most likely making playoffs at this point.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think these offenses can develop into something really special and also more versatile too, and just how they're selling their fakes, how they're splitting up, what corners they're checking, just small things to clean up, and these two teams are going to start contending for the top.
And even if we are at this point now in stage 2, there is still points that teams to be getting. You can see good performance coming out here, because Vans, if you're wanting to make it onto that next part, you only need to be in that top 8, and that's definitely possible for these teams.
Exactly that. And also, if you're unfamiliar or new here to the challenger scene for over at Knights for Valorant, you're actually getting more points in that second stage as well. So I think last stage in stage 1, it was only 10 points if you were top of your group. This time around, you have 13 points. So after the mid-season cup, and for players that just came in after the play-ins, for example, like Blinn, that came in with 0 points, they still have an opportunity to make it to the top 8, because you have an opportunity to get more points depending where you finish. So every single one of these games are super important for these teams that are trying to battle it out towards that mid sort of bottom side of the top 8 moving through. It's still very top heavy, at least if you look at the standings and the points there, but definitely an opportunity here. And again, there's some hope now for a team like Winthrop University to make that happen.
100%. As for Winthrop University, of course, want the opportunity to go and talk to them and talk to new members. So let's head over to an interview now, chat a little bit more. First off, I have to address the elephant in the room here. Hello, Silinx. Are we saying your name right? I just want to check.
Yeah, Silinx is good. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, just gotta check that for. Congratulations on this win. Congratulations, the addition to the team. I gotta know, you're coming in here right away, coming off a great performance in the mid-season cup. Get that showcase on the new team. How are you feeling?
Feeling great. Yeah, I mean, practice week was really productive, and it's really nice to see everything paying off. Last season, they didn't have the split that they exactly wanted, but you could tell really easily that they had a lot of potential as players. Like, even that upset versus TTR was insane. And I've just seen day by day everybody proving themselves, so it feels nice.
I mean, your addition to the roster is definitely something that's super welcome after we saw what you're capable of in the mid-season cup. So I want to know whereabouts the timeline was for all of this happening. Was this something that they approached you after seeing the performance you had with TTR, or was it kind of in the works before and we just got a little sneak peek of what you're made of there?
No, yeah, it was very much afterwards. I think it was after the first or second day, I forget. But I think Branchies reached out and Screwface, and I've seen all these guys playing around for a little bit, so I think they kind of knew me, so it was pretty easy.
Hey, I mean, it was definitely the amount of people that were posting on Twitter, like, hey, you got to sign Silinx, like, this guy's a beast. Like, it's definitely really nice to see that coming on through so quickly here. Talking about the series today, you're talking about the practice and the work that's going in. Winthrop did take that loss to Fluffy Aimers in the mid-season cup 0-2, and I want to know how the energy was then going into today's set, especially since it was a run back that they had before that wasn't so fruitful.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely wanted vengeance, and it was nice because we could kind of take away from our last series and see what went wrong and stuff, but also we showed a completely different look, I think, because two new players, especially with an IGL and Screw Kyle, you know, I don't think they really knew exactly what to expect, but we had stuff to go into and look at. But they really wanted it, so it proved today.
You can tell that this was a long series just overall, and I want to talk about then how the games were going, because it kind of looked at some points that Fluffy Aimers had your number throughout this. Even if they didn't quite know what to expect going into it, they kind of started adapting. So where were you as a team able to start kind of finding holes in their defense to be able to push yourselves to a win?
I mean, to be honest, on Lotus, we were in the driver's seat the whole time, but then second half, we kind of just kept on letting rounds slip, especially in the post-plant. Like, I think if you look at that timeline, it was like something like 7 post-plant losses, I want to say. So we were going into the next map very confident still. It's really nice to see that everybody kind of kept their mental up. But just going into the series, we already knew that we could scrap with them. And, you know, it did end up paying off. Thank God we didn't lose our heads after the first one, though, because we let that slip.
Hey, I mean, being able to have that mental fortitude is just as important as anything else you can have out there in the server. So
for sure.
It's nice to see that from the team as well. Congratulations again on this win. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks so much for chatting.
Yeah, I appreciate it. All right, y'all have a good one.
You too. As for us, back over to the desk. I love hearing just how the team, just Winthrop University in general, Lemon, is just like good vibes, the work they're putting in, and we got to see that showcase today.
And it sounds, just based on that interview, that Silinx is such a good personality fit. He sounds like he brings good vibes and he frags. Yeah. Like, what more do you want from someone? Because sometimes, you know, the people that frag, they're quiet, they're mean, they got egos, but he seems very humble. And that's what Winthrop needed, is to be humble, especially after losing map 2 when they let it slip away. And I'm glad that they were able to keep their head on their shoulders. Because like you said, Sierra, that's what it's all about sometimes.
It's so underrated at sometimes, but the mental is all encompassing. Of course, that is just the first week of competition for those teams. We'll get to see a lot more of them going on forward, but we have to talk a little bit about the rest of the week and what we're going to be seeing tomorrow. It's going to be YFP versus SAD Esports, and later on MXS versus Doughboys. All the remaining teams, you'll get to see them the day after that, fans. But still a lot of Valorant for the rest of the week, and already delivering here on day 1.
100%, and I'm definitely looking forward to the YFP versus SAD Esports game, because I'm pretty sure SAD went through some roster changes too, and we see some reuniting members out from Northwood University with Dip and Darkest playing together. So I'm mostly looking forward to seeing what impact these players are going to do for the team of SAD in tomorrow's games.
I'm excited to get a better look at Blinn Esports. We got to see a little bit coming out from them in the mid-season cup, and I was pretty impressed so far. But of course, they still have a whole stage ahead of them to show us what they're capable of, and going up against TSM will certainly be exciting. But that is unfortunately it for today. So we made it to this point, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Lemon Vans, thank you so much for the chaos as usual. You guys are so much fun. Wouldn't change a thing. And thank you so much for production. Hope everyone has a good rest of your night. Good luck with your ranked games. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Sit down. Gotcha. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Last 30. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Defenders. One enemy remaining. Flawless. One enemy remaining. Sleep. Nightmare's over. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Amateur.
Spike down A. Spike planted. One enemy remaining. One enemy. Spike down C. Defenders win. One enemy remaining. Face your fear!